Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Have you seen any suspicious activity in the vicinity, Dr. Reed?
No more than usual.
This is no laughing matter, Dr. Reed. A patient of mine has been murdered. Mr. Fiddick is dead. I should have been more cautious.
What is troubling you so much, Dr. Strickland? Is there something else?
I had to meet face to face with the son and daughter of Mr. Fiddick this afternoon. Their eyes. I could barely stand before their accusing gaze.
This difficult task is part of our job, Dr. Strickland. It's our responsibility.
I know. As I also know they'll never get the answer to the question they daren't ask. They were the embodiment of cold fatalism.
Why are you blaming yourself for the death of Mr. Fiddick?
It is our fault. Mr. Fiddick has stayed longer than needed here because Dr. Ackroyd and I could not agree on the correct treatment.
This argument has nothing to do with his death. He was murdered.
But if we had performed the surgery sooner, he would have left the hospital and avoided this fate.
Goodbye, Good evening, Dr. Ackroyd.
You're the last person that I want to see right now, Dr. Reed.
I see that you are as friendly as ever.
Are you really going to ask me why? That would just be more evidence of your selfishness.
How do you think these recent events will affect the Pembroke Hospital?
I am not blind. There is something strange about you and Dr. Swansea. One day you'll have to provide answers.
You are troubled by the death of your patient. I understand. It is something that haunts everybody in our profession.
Harvey Fiddick died inside these walls, under our watch. We failed him, all of us.
Don't you think the epidemic is enough to deal with, without wasting time on insults and suspicions?
Yes, the epidemic. Convenient, isn't it? Just like the war, really. Hundreds are already dying, so who cares about one more?
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to...
I wish this hospital could have received as much...
Thank you for your time. Good evening, Mrs. Goswick. How are you feeling?
Spare me your false compassion. It won't change all the bad publicity I intend to shine upon this toxic place. I knew this place was bad from the start.
What do you mean by a toxic place?
I hold you responsible, sir. You and everyone else in this shameful hospital. I was a fool to bring my Mortimer here. A fool.
A fool? What do you mean by that?
He tried to kill himself. I had him hospitalized in this secluded place to avoid a legal inquiry. And now he's been murdered.
Why hide his suicidal tendencies?
Mortimer was already so fragile. To be arrested for a suicide attempt would have killed him.
But he died anyway.
Violently murdered, yes. My poor boy escaped tragedy only to face an even worse fate.
You aren't going to stay here forever, Mrs. Goswick. What are you going to do after your crusade against the hospital?
I'll stay as long as I want to, sir. I'm rich. Very rich. And I intend to spend all my money to close this place down. That's my plan.
I found your son's suicide note, Beatrice. Maybe you'd like to read it.
Stop torturing me, Dr. Reed. It's too much. Do you have no heart?
I just wanted you to know that Mortimer wrote this letter for you.
I am going to tell everyone about this damned hospital. I will warn them about the cruelty, indifference, and danger this place represents.
Stop threatening me. Don't you realize doctors and hospitals are the last hope of this city?
You are heartless, Dr. Reed. Despite all your knowledge, I don't believe coldness is what the world needs to be a better place.
Do you require medical
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this?
Despite what you
Well, at least your reputation seems well-deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Jonathan,
Time is my ally. I'll survive the pain.
I'm here for you, Jonathan. If you ever need to talk.
Tell me,
I'm lucky to be in a privilege.
and are Dr. Swansea?
Dr. Swansea is a man firm.
If you'll forgive me, it's...
Jonathan, we are what we are.
Could I ask you,
Ask, and I will.
where...
I have a house in London where I.
A daughter?
No. Charlotte is a
There's so much I want to...
Slow down, Jonathan. And
Please tell me, are you Lady Ashbury?
yes, and no. I was born.
How do you live?
I can't answer that, Jonathan.
Have you ever killed?
I will not answer that.
Have you killed someone you've known?
Jonathan, have you forgotten what I do here?
I'll see you later.
Murderers and thieves, a lot of them. They are criminals who treat you at Pembroke.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan. How are you tonight?
Haven't you heard? Dr. Tippett is dead.
Yes, I know about Corcoran's death. I'm sure Dr. Swansea will provide a solution.
Dr. Swansea has asked me to replace him. Dr. Tippett, I mean. Since he considers I was already doing his job. Dr. Tippett's job. But without the official title, of course. Sorry. All of this is so sudden.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused the death of a patient.
It doesn't matter anymore. Yes, he made a mistake and I covered it up. But his skills are what this hospital...
Do you realize what would happen to your career if someone
From my point of view, this is exactly why Dr. Swansea appointed me. I thought about those who still needed Corcoran's skills.
Perhaps you're right. We all have to live with what we've done. Your secret is safe with me.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I know I can trust you.
Would you like to talk about the death?
Please, call it a murder. A murder inside the walls of this hospital. And no one seems to care about it.
I don't sense sadness in your voice, Miss Brannigan. So what is it?
Oh, I didn't even get to pay my respects. His only son came when I was sleeping. Then he was gone. The ceremony is in Birmingham.
No one will mind if you attend the funeral. I know Dr. Tippett's meant a lot to you.
Mourning is a luxury I can't afford. I'm sure Corcoran would have understood. The practice meant everything to him.
I'm not familiar with all...
Brilliant professor.
most of them.
It would be
Is anyone...
nobody.
How are you dealing with your new position, Nurse Brannigan?
Yes, you can. And I hold fast. You don't have to worry about me, Doctor.
You don't sound particularly pleased by your new...
It took an epidemic and the death of my mentor to show what I'm capable of. How could I be anything but happy?
I'm not worried, but you seem...
I'm fed up of all the gossip. I realize now that I'll have to prove myself far more than before.
Do you require
I will be fine.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick. Take this, and do try to get some rest.
I'll try, Dr. Reed. Thank you.
Goodbye now. I need to talk to you, Edgar.
Please do so.
We'll talk later.
This hospital is a danger to its patients.
Best run along home, sir. Go back home!
Murdering bastard! Watch out! Die, Bernie! Watch it! It's a killer!
Dear sister, I don't know if I have the strength.
What do you want?
Are you all... They've lost...
You seem to know...
I'm Dr. John...
I am...
Carnage is Father Whitaker's disciple. This man's far too old to be Samuel. No. By the look of his clothes, this man's a docker. Samuel isn't here. I had better follow the blood trail. Shouldn't you go back home?
Maybe later. But for now, I need...
As I feared, Samuel no longer preaches the good word. I have this thirst for blood. believe I'm doing this. Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony.
I am the resurrection and the life.
What brings you here?
I thought you...
She was a...
You're a good person.
She had been...
Jonathan,
I still...
Jonathan, stop.
I'm learning.
Don't you see?
And so this is what...
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan.
I'm not a religious man. You should know that.
This is not about you forgiving yourself. This is for her.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and...
This is despicable. Hello, sir.
A doctor, you said.
All right.
And off to church he goes.
A newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you?
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted.
May I help you, child?
I haven't
the church.
Take no offense, Vicar. I seek just a moment in nothing but my own company.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If you're...
I've made myself perfectly clear. This is a private matter.
Your eyes burn with rage. Yet I see the...
Very well, priest.
Open your heart.
Who she was is not your concern.
You seem so troubled by the loss.
It was an accident. A terrible, terrible accident.
I see.
I wish I could forget all this.
I have a final question for you, my son.
Ask your question.
How can this poor soul hear you when you can't even hear yourself?
I swear it wasn't me. You know me. I loved you. I could never hurt you.
Please, forgive me. You have been heard, my son, and...
Whatever happened on this dock is between my sister and I. It does not concern God at all.
There's sacred places. It's in me! Kill it! He's too fucking fast! Over there! Look one of them vermin!
Remorse and pain You. I remember you.
This riddle.
Be still.
What is it?
This.
Seek.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
Steady, boys! Gosh, he's dead! This is no place. Get them weapons ready. One stop.